From the John C. Hint Production Arts Studios in Peoria, Illinois, VideoMax Limited presents Midstate Magazine with your hosts, Kayla Neitz and Dawn McClure. News with Brent Dravalis and Danielle Kamsky and the Midstate reporting team. Sports with Spencer Shelton. Nikki Garabrandt takes us about town. Get Real with Ricky Hendon. And Jackie Myers is in the spotlight. Street Team with Pablo Iglesias. Taylor Hurnett with About Crew. And State of the Arts with Brooke James. And now, from America's friendliest city, Midstate Magazine. Take it away, kids.
Good evening and welcome to Midstate Magazine. This is the last season. It's good to finally wrap up.
Yeah, it is. I'm excited to just wrap up the whole year. It was a really exciting year for me. It was my first year. Yeah. So how many years do you have left on?
I am done.
This is your last one?
Yes,
so is it kind of surreal for you?
I guess it's a good way to go out. You know,
Yep.
It's been a good roller coaster ride, you know, always having a blast on here. So
Well, great. I had a really great time hosting with you this year.
Yeah.
We've got some world news coming up. You want to tell us a little bit about that?
Okay, well, we'll start with the world. What's happening? The Nigeria girls, 215, were kidnapped by some local group out there who basically kidnapped 215 schoolgirls from the school because they believe education isn't for women and that women should be only like for wives and having babies.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you were saying that they had actually captured some more, right? 11?
Yes, they took 11 more students, and right now the U.S. is talking about getting involved. And it's unfortunate, you know, girls trying to educate themselves and better their lives, and then something like this
absolutely.
happens. Yeah, and so their own government hasn't even been able to stop this.
They haven't even stepped in yet.
Exactly, and so it's been a lot of outcry, and it's just been huge, and a lot of celebrities are getting involved and things like that. So, but we'll get to more things like that later.
Peoria is a busy city, and there's always something going on.
Luckily, we have an awesome news team to keep us updated to see what they have for us today.
Let's see.
Good evening, and welcome to Midstate Magazine. I'm Brent Dravalis.
And I'm Danielle Kamsky. Now let's take a look at the news.
Atoms of a new super heavy element, the as yet unnamed element 117, have been created by scientists in Germany, moving closer to being officially recognized as part of the standard periodic table. Element 117, so called because it is an atom with 117 protons in its nucleus, was first reported in 2010 by the Joint Institute for Nuclear Research in Dubna, Russia. Since then, researchers have performed tests to confirm the existence of the new elusive element. The International Union of Pure and Applied Chemistry will review the findings to decide whether to officially accept the element 117 and grant it an official name. The World Health Organization has declared the spread of polio as an international public health emergency. The agency says that outbreaks in Asia, Africa, and the Middle East are in need of a coordinated international response. The WHO recommends citizens of affected countries traveling abroad carry a vaccination certificate. The polio virus, which mainly affects children under the age of 5, is transmitted through contaminated food and water. The virus is an endemic in just three countries, Pakistan, Afghanistan, and Nigeria, but attacks on vaccination campaigns in Pakistan have allowed the virus to spread across the borders.
The Coca-Cola company announced it will be removing a controversial flavoring stabilizer from some of its drinks, following rival PepsiCo Incorporated's announcement earlier this year that it would drop the same ingredient from its drinks. The ingredient, brominated vegetable oil, or BVO, small quantities of BVO are used illegally in some citrus-flavored drinks in the United States to keep the flavor evenly dispersed. Coca-Cola expects to remove it from its Fanta and Fresca soda, as well as citrus-flavored fountain drinks, by year's end for U.S. consumers.
The iPod let you put your entire music collection in your pocket. Now, Sony has something that could let you put the world's music collection in your pocket. A cassette tape that holds 185 terabytes of data. To put that in perspective, the tape can hold 60 million songs. The recording density of the tape is about 74 times the capacity of current tapes by better controlling the tiny magnetic particles that are grown to record individual ones and zeros. With Sony's storage breakthrough, it looks like the tape is here to stay.
Since late February of this year, one of Peoria's most busy intersections has been under construction, causing traffic. Main and University has been blocked off in hopes for easier pedestrian traffic. Peoria citizens can look forward to the ending of this construction within the next week. Thanks to the work of the City of Peoria and its construction crew, students and shoppers of campus town shops will now have more convenience with crossing the intersection, as well as slowing down traffic in the busy intersection. Now let's head over to Spencer Shelton with sports. Come on, Spencer, get up here.
Hey, how we doing, guys? How we doing?
Again.
Thanks, Danielle.
No problem.
Craig Robinson is out as head coach for the Oregon State men's basketball team. The fourth winningest head coach in school history had 3 years remaining on his contract, but failed to lead the Beavers to either the NCAA or the NIT tournament, in his tenure. Robinson, the brother-in-law of President Barack Obama, will receive a $4 million buyout, 10 times the salary of the president. Oregon State was 16-16 this season. After their 19-win season, the Philadelphia 76ers have something to smile about. Michael Carter-Williams was given the Rookie of the Year award last week. Carter-Williams led all rookies with 17 points, 6 rebounds, and 6 assists per game, joining Oscar Robinson and Alvin Adams to be the only rookies to lead in the top 3 categories since 1950 and 1951. Former Sixer Allen Iverson is the only other player in the history of the team to win the award. A United States Army Ranger will get to see his dream come true thanks to the Philadelphia Eagles. Last week, the team signed Alejandro Villanueva to a rookie free agent contract. For the past 4 years, Villanueva was an active member of the U.S. Army and most recently, an Army Ranger. He last played football in 2009, where he played wide receiver and led the team with more than 30 receptions, 500 yards, and 5 touchdowns. That wraps up our last episode of sports for the season. Let's head back to Danielle with the news.
Thanks, Spencer. Volunteers saw a remote-controlled drone flying close to a herd of bighorn sheep, causing several young sheep to be separated from the adults as they scattered, a report from Zion National Park said. Flying an unmanned aerial vehicle within the park can be penalized by a $5,000 fine and/or up to 6 months imprisonment. Zion National Park officials hope educating the public about the reasons for making drone flights illegal will help to protect the park, its wildlife, and its visitors. In addition to negatively affecting ground-based wildlife, drones could prevent birds from successfully nesting. Birds might abandon their nests if they feel threatened. The presence of drones has also affected people who visit the park. Some visitors have complained about drones interrupting their usual peace of Zion's soundscape and wilderness, while others have reported feeling unsafe as drones buzz through slot canyons and along exposed trails, such as Angel's Landing and Canyon Overlook.
Interesting.
Yeah, how would you like a drone flying over your park?
I don't know, but
that wraps up the last Midstate for the season. I'm Spencer Shelton.
I'm Brent Wallace.
And I'm Danielle Haimski. Have a great night.
Thank you, news team.
Yes. All right. So sticking with some national things that's happening right now, you got everybody's talking about the iPhone.
Everybody is, talking and gabbing about the new iPhone coming out. It is supposed to be the iPhone 6. I think it's supposed to be out in the next year. And I was researching a little bit about it. The biggest difference that I'm noticing is that the screen is going to get bigger and bigger. Okay. So they're actually going to do a preliminary iPhone 6 in like 1 year, I think. And that's going to be like 0.5 inches bigger, wider. And then they're going to release another iPhone 6 that's going to be actually 1.5 inches bigger.
Okay, well, I can't really keep up, but with the iPhone coming out, people need to get them ready anyway.
The camera is going to be really good.
Right.
And we've got the Beyonce and Jay-Z tour coming out.
Exactly, so get your iPhones ready because this is a big deal. You know, many people are talking about it, that the tickets range from $50 to $5,000.
Oh my gosh.
I have some friends that bought some tickets for $215, and I'm like, where does that get you? Because I mean, that's for me, that's top of the line.
Yeah, yeah, right. I've never been to a concert where I've paid that much. So to me, if I was going to pay that much, $250, and that's obviously on the low end. Right. I'd want to be in the front row, but I don't think that's going to be the case.
And it's called On the Run tour, and I mean, you got Beyonce and Jay-Z, two people who have, dominated. I mean, she is on top right now. Jay-Z has been in the rap game for a very long time, and now coming together as a power couple. I don't know if this has ever happened where a couple has necessarily done such a big. I
don't think so, because I mean, we've got couples that are both musically in the industry, like Miranda Lambert and Blake Shelton. Yes. But not nearly as big as Beyonce and Jay-Z. So the fact that they're coming together, I'd imagine it's going to be a huge, huge deal.
But also with some more entertainment coming up, we will get to more like health and things coming up. With,
we've got a lot of things in the media where people will lose a bunch of weight or gain a bunch of weight for a role.
Right, and and how society sees that.
So we'll talk about that next.
Yes.
This episode, we will look upon all the greatest moments of the Midstate year.
All right, let's start off with
About Town.
About Town, that's what it is. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
This week, we went to the Luthi Botanical Gardens, located on North Prospect Road. We spoke with manager Bob Streetmatter about the gardens.
We're open year-round, and generally, we have 5.5 acres of outdoor gardens. And that's divided up into themed gardens, like there's a rose garden, a cottage garden, a woodland garden, that type of thing.
With many gardens to choose from, it's a great place to take the kids to learn about plants.
A lot of times children don't understand what plants do for them. They don't know where their food comes from. They think a lot of times their food comes in a little box with a trinket from Ronald McDonald or something along those lines, or it comes from Kroger. When they can come to the garden and see, a coffee tree or a banana tree or a lemon tree, all of a sudden they put the pieces together. If we're going to solve some of the environmental issues we're having today, it has to start with children. And so I think that's why it's so important for them to understand the connections and how they're connected and how they relate to the rest of the world.
You can even learn about the history of plants in Peoria.
Peoria has a vast history. Peoria is an old city, and they have this really cool distilling history. And so we were planning on an exhibit perhaps down the road called Botany of a Cocktail, where we explore how plants play into the distilling and brewing history. We'll explore hops and grains and how whiskey is made and all that, because it all depends on plants and fermentation.
If you want to learn about some amazing plants and flowers, or just take in the beautiful view, take a trip to the Luthi Botanical Gardens. For About Town, I'm Nikki Gerbrandt.
Thanks, Nikki.
That is a great and beautiful place. Have you ever been to somewhere like that?
I have not been to the botanical gardens out here, but it looked awesome, and I was just talking about how the, what is it? The ozone layer. Right. Peoria got a D rating for bad air, bad breathing
scary.
air. Yeah,
considering we use it, all the time.
Right, which is why I was like, I'm surprised those plants are able to thrive out here.
Yeah,
considering
I'm glad to say they are, and we obviously need them. That everything, is recycling back in. But
and they were saying that doctors were saying that people could have worse respiratory infections here because of how just terrible it is. I guess pollution.
I wonder if that's affecting people with asthma or allergies or anything like that.
It does actually, yeah, which is kind of scary, to think of that. But also we have some. We was talking about the weight gain.
The entertainment, right?
Right.
We've got a lot of, especially male actors. I've noticed will gain a bunch of weight or lose a bunch of weight for a role. For example, Matthew McConaughey in Dallas Buyers Club.
Right. He dropped an extreme amount of weight. You know what I'm saying? And this is all going to help us out leading into our Get Real segment coming up. Also, Bradley Cooper has a new role coming up for a film.
Okay.
And he has put on 40 pounds.
Wow.
Yeah,
and that's got to affect their health so much in terms of just their heart alone. And you were saying something, you thought someone actually got diabetes from doing it.
Yeah, going up and down so constantly, much
Wow.
like that. It's hard to control over the years if you can't maintain a constant weight. And also, I mean, what kind of message does that send to our youth sometimes is what kind of concerns
And I'm sure
me.
they get paid a ton of money for doing, but you got to wonder, in the end, when they were dealing with the health issues, was it really worth the money that they got paid
And
to
see,
do
that's
it?
the part you don't see is what goes on behind the scenes, and they, you really don't get to know that these guys have trainers and the food to keep them healthy and things like that.
Yep.
But for right now, movies never seem to slow down, and Ricky has always kept us updated.
Let's check in with one of his favorites.
Hello, America. Welcome to Get Real. This is your U.S. President, Barack Obama. I'll be co-hosting today's episode of Get Real with Ricky Hinton. Ricky's a great kid, smart, good-looking, well-spoken, and so he'll be taking you through today's clips while I'll give you some added insight. So without further ado, let's get started. Life is hard enough being a teenage girl in a post-apocalyptic Chicago. I know, because I started my career in Chicago. But imagine that, along with the threat of death hanging over your head for simply being who you are. This is the unfortunate but all too real reality for Beatrice Pryor in the new blockbuster movie, Divergent. Ricky, take it away.
Based off the best-selling novel by Victoria Roth, Divergent follows the story of a 16-year-old Beatrice Pryor. She's about to make the most important decision of her life while also maintaining a dark secret.
I play the character of Beatrice Pryor, more recognized as Tris Pryor, and she starts off in a faction called Abnegation, which values selflessness. And throughout the film, she decides to transfer into a different faction, which values bravery. And her constant battle within her own mind is, am I selfless or am I brave?
I think he was going to let you off without a scratch. I'd still be standing there if I hadn't hit you.
This sci-fi thriller will have you hooked from the start with its alluring visuals and captivating world. The plot is full of suspenseful moments mixed with moderately appealing action scenes while also delivering an authentic love story.
If I were to sum it up, really would be about choice. It's about how you choose your own destiny, really, and how that affects your life, and whether you can be one thing or whether in fact we're all a mixture of kind of the good and the bad. And then also on top of that, it's a love story.
The brilliance of the faction system is the conformity to the faction removes the threat of anyone exercising their independent will. Divergents threaten that system. Don't get me wrong. There's a certain beauty in your resistance, your defiance of categorization. But it's a beauty we can't afford.
Thank you for that, Ricky. So not your typical sci-fi film, Divergent hits on many traditional Hollywood elements, which I think gives it unique appeal for its genre and contributes to the strength of the movie. Overall, I give Divergent 3 out of 5 stars. That's it for Get Real. I'm Barack Obama, and I won't see you next time, but you stay classy, America.
Thank you, Ricky. What did you think of his impression?
Well, for one, that was Barack Obama.
Oh,
that was
right.
not Ricky. No, he did a good job.
Yes. We have our dog segment coming up next, which is always awesome.
The Guardian Angel segment, right? I think it's really cool.
Yes.
I was reading a little bit about a pit bull and how just pit bulls are really seen as vicious dogs, but they can actually be really sweet. They have to be trained to be vicious.
Yes.
But I read about this dog who was abused, and basically they just give him the royal treatment. And it was a girl dog. They painted her nails and shined his coat and gave it a princess bed to sleep in.
Oh, okay.
So I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
And I just think it's really interesting how, the dogs in the shelters, a lot of them will get, they'll get killed basically if they're not adopted.
Right.
And there's perfectly good dogs in there to adopt, and I just think it's so sad that some of them don't get adopted just because people will go right to the purebred or right to the big companies.
Right. I mean, especially older dogs or dogs that's been taken in off the street, it's harder for them to get adopted because people want the little
puppies and they're cuter.
Yeah, right. But all animals need homes and not just dogs, and hopefully people start taking care more of them because they really are, they become a part of your family.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they need to be treated exactly, the same. And we also cannot forget our wonderful experiences with Barkley.
Yep, Bob's dog. Speaking of the reporter, Matt Blitzstein rehashes an update with the Guardian Angel Rescue.
For over 18 years, Guardian Angel Basset Rescue has been providing wonderful homes for basset hounds. Fran Gray was the founder of Guardian Angel, and all she ever wanted for bassets was to have a loving home.
This is a terrible situation. People are abandoning basset hounds, and they've got no place to abandon them, so we need to put together a place where people who don't want their bassets anymore, or bassets that are being abused, or bassets that are simply unwanted, can be taken in, rescued, and found homes for. She ran into a couple named Larry and Emmy Little in Dwight, Illinois, and they were nuts about bassets too, and together they formed Guardian Angel Basset Rescue.
Guardian Angel Basset Rescue believes they should help the dogs that are currently here rather than breeding more.
We don't need to buy puppy mill dogs and encourage that sort of inhuman, soulless exploitation of wonderful dogs, and instead adopt out the ones that are already here. Make sure that those that are here get good homes.
No rescue can operate without money.
Gabber has spent so far this year $1.5 million on veterinary fees.
Due to the amount of money that is spent to keep the basset hounds healthy, Guardian Angel must be funded.
What Larry Little did, being a shrewd businessman himself, he said, if we're going to have a rescue, we're going to make sure that we have enough money to keep it, to make it ongoing. Long after we're gone, Guardian Angel Basset Rescue will still be here because we're going to fund it.
An exciting and fun event that is held by Guardian Angel yearly is known as the Basset Waddle.
The sign coming into Dwight says, Home of the Basset Waddle. Every year in September, there are 2,000 or 3,000 animals there, basset hounds and their owners, and they march down the main street of Dwight, Illinois, leading off the Harvest Home Parade for the city.
Basset hounds are lovable, friendly, and intelligent dogs.
Basset hounds are the hush puppies. If you've ever seen one sitting down with its long ears hanging down and its little paws sticking out like this, looking at you with those big brown eyes, you'll understand the appeal.
Nothing is more fulfilling than providing a Basset Hound with a safe home.
I just rescued a dog. His name is Barkley. There was this horrible-looking dog who was starved literally to death. If they hadn't brought this dog into the rescue within 2 days of the time that picture was taken, it would have been dead. Some mindless scum had taken that dog and for the first year and a half of its life had starved it. It was literally bones covered with skin. Its poor old head was hanging down, it had a big cut on its nose, and it looked like the saddest thing I've ever seen. And I said, Emmy, I'll take that one. And she said, I thought so. And then she sent me the next picture, which was him 3 months later, happy, filled out, back in good health. And I said, good, when can I have him? Because that's 20 years I've had Bassets. My last Basset died a year and a half ago. And my heart breaks every time a dog dies because dogs, for me, become part of my family. I don't have children at home. What I have is a Basset Hound at home and a wife at home.
All animals want a loving, caring, and affectionate family that can treat them right.
We're those nutty Americans who think that animals are precious, they're creatures of God, and we're supposed to take care of them.
For Midstate Magazine, I'm Matthew Blitzstein.
Thank you, Matt.
Yes.
Well, we've got In the Spotlight coming up. Speaking of,
I mean, we're not in the spotlight right now.
Right.
It's a little dark. We apologize.
They're dimming the lights on us, Don. I don't know what they're trying to imply.
We didn't quite pay our bill on time.
Yeah,
so, you know,
right.
No, kidding. Well, I mean, this will be a good segue. We're getting ready to get all new equipment.
We sure are.
Yeah, so we've been using this equipment for
the last 15 years,
yes,
right?
you know, since the 90s or so, something like that, or close to it. So
that'll be really cool. Get all new equipment in. We'll get the newest stuff. That'll be awesome.
I'll try to keep a smile on my face. Can you guys see my teeth? No.
Everyone knows where you are. Don't worry, Don.
Just to let you all know, this place was built in 1996. It's getting a little tired and weak. So this summer we're tearing it all out. We're putting it all back on, and I promise you the lights will work next summer.
Okay, so there you go. So it will be all brand new. You guys won't even recognize the show. But also with going on in the spotlight, a lot of celebrity different news. Willow Smith, who is Will Smith's daughter, was seen. It's picture surface of her in bed with a shirtless actor who's 20 and she's only 13. So we're trying to see what's going on there.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting just kids that will grow up in media or in entertainment. They usually tend to, lose their youth really, really quickly.
Right. It makes you grow up very fast, and people want to know always about your business, what you're doing. It's like she's 13 years old.
She shouldn't even be thinking about that kind of stuff yet, and yet here she finds herself in bed. Do you know how old the guy was that she was in bed with?
20.
He was 20.
But he's an actor, so maybe it's a project she's working on, and we just don't know it yet.
Maybe. And that's the other thing about entertainment. There's always rumors. There's always people catching just a little bit of the story, and they don't get the rest of it.
Yeah, so hopefully it's not something bad and positive. Also, with celebrity news, more with Miley Cyrus, they say she's possibly had a drug overdose, but we don't know if that's true, but we'll get back to that.
That's how it goes, right?
Yes, and Jackie always knew what was going on in Hollywood this year.
Let's look back to one of her favorite segments within the Spotlight.
I'm Jackie Myers, and this is In the Spotlight. Michigan hockey team Kalamazoo Wings surprised a 5th grader at his 11th birthday, March 9th. This little boy didn't even want to have a party because he thinks he has no friends. His mom goes on to say that because of his disability, he lacks social skills, so kids at his school don't like him. His story touched the heart of the team, and they surprised the 5th grader at his birthday dinner and even gave him a 1-day contract to make him a full-fledged teammate. The little boy Colin got to sit with the team in a jersey and drop the ceremonial puck while being cheered on by all the fans. It will be a birthday to remember, I'm sure. The Patriots quarterback, Tom Brady, honored the Boston Fire Department last week. While at home in Black Bay, a house 4 blocks down from Brady caught fire. I had a first-hand view of the action and was just blown away by all the bravery and teamwork that they really displayed, said Brady. Unfortunately, 2 firefighters lost their lives in this fire. Tom Brady went on to pay his respects and say that we as athletes think we are heroes, but when you witness firsthand what I saw yesterday, you realize who the real heroes are in the world. Tom Brady and his family were not harmed by the 9-alarm blaze. Now on a lighter note. Did you know many Hollywood stars were also athletes? Here are some of the most surprising stars you might not know known used to be athletes. Before George Clooney was a big shot in Hollywood, he played baseball in high school, and he later tried out for the Cincinnati Reds. Unfortunately, he striked out with that deal, but now is very successful with acting. Before Sheryl Crow was an award-winning singer, she was an all-star track athlete and medal winner in the 75-meter hurdle. Before he was an American Idol host and national radio broadcaster, Ryan Seacrest played football for his high school in the early 1990s. Lastly, Emma Watson, most well known for her character Hermione in Harry Potter, showed her athletic skill at college by being on the club field hockey team while attending Brown University. For In the Spotlight, I'm Jackie Myers.
Thank you, Jackie. All right, so next we have coming up food.
Let's eat.
Yeah, food. Always good food options. And
Yeah.
I was trying to look into like what are some of the best restaurants to go to, and something is very local, right next to our studio, like Ton Lin.
Okay.
And also One World Cafe.
I have actually been to One World Cafe several times,
Yes,
and
it's
I've got a
good.
friend who is gluten-free. She cannot have gluten,
Okay.
and they're really good about just being allergy conscious. They've got a huge gluten-free menu, a ton of gluten-free desserts.
Right.
So they're really good about that, and everything I've had there is just delicious. So.
Now, I want to check out this restaurant, something City, Second City, I think it's called. Or,
Okay, what kind of restaurant? I've never heard of that.
It's right down in East Peoria, and it's supposed to be more on the high-end side, a little bit more expensive. It's supposed to be really nice, but they have gluten-free options, so take your friend there.
Sure.
But I found out they didn't have vegetarian options, but
Okay.
so that was kind of a bust, but the atmosphere is just nice, so, always looking for something new to try.
So do you eat fish then?
I do not eat fish.
You do not eat fish?
No,
Okay.
I do not. No seafood at all for me.
None, okay. And that's because you're a vegetarian, you include that in, or you just don't like fish?
No, just because I'm a vegetarian.
Okay.
Yeah. But what about you? Any favorite restaurant or anything?
I actually just had Alexander's for the first time, and that was really good. But
Okay.
let's get to Let's Eat. I'm excited to see what
so
we've
we
got for
always
us.
love delicious food.
Megan always has had the best. Let's see what restaurant she has as her favorite.
Welcome to Whitey's Barbecue, where the business may be new, but the food is always classic. Located in East Peoria off East Washington Street, Whitey's offers delicious barbecue for all ages.
We opened last May, so we're coming up on a year, and it just all started me barbecuing probably over 10 years ago, and then about 5 years ago I started doing some competitions local around the area, then started doing some bigger competitions, started doing really well, and this place came open, and next thing you know, I opened a barbecue restaurant.
Although they are a new restaurant, it doesn't stop owner Mike from entering competitions.
Morton has a barbecue throwdown. It's run by KCBS, and some of the biggest teams in the country are there, and we just won the People's Choice for pulled pork. It's a blind judging, and I think over 500 people voted, and we won.
I had the award-winning pulled pork sandwich with a side of fries. The meat was tender, and the sweet sauce complemented it perfectly. When we asked Mike what makes Whitey's Barbecue stand out compared to other barbecue restaurants in the area, he responded with,
I think that we do everything from scratch. Everything we do here is homemade, and I think you can taste a difference.
From Midstate Magazine, I'm Megan Gorecki.
Thank you, Megan. Well, we've got On the Beat coming up next. I know during the summer I always try to get to a couple concerts. I like country, so that's like the perfect time of year for me.
I'm not the biggest country person, but I've listened to a few different country songs.
Okay.
Slowly, I'm getting into it slowly, and I've heard some good things. Also with news, the Billboard Music Awards, will be happening soon, and people from John Legend to Flo Rida, Miley Cyrus, Jennifer Lopez will be making appearances, some performing, and the Billboard Music Awards. The Billboard Music Awards is huge, and if you are getting awards from there, it's because you sell like #1 albums or #1 hits or stuff like that. So people like Mariah Carey, Rihanna has had way more actually #1 hits than Beyonce. So
I was just about to say, I'm sure we'll see Beyonce up there, but you're kidding. I did not know Rihanna was above her.
I think Beyonce is the better performer, overall singer, as far as show, and when she tours around the world, people go out to see Beyonce. But
she puts on such a great act.
Exactly, but Rihanna has just sold more #1 records.
Okay, so maybe just radio appeal. I do notice that a lot of Beyonce songs, like they're really good on her album, and everybody loves them. You don't hear them on the radio as much, so maybe it's just
right. And Rihanna has those very pop hits, entertainment.
You listen to in the car, it
right.
gets stuck in your head.
Exactly.
Stuff like that.
So she's just selling more sometimes, you know. But Beyonce's last album, as we have already talked about, they're getting ready to go on tour.
On the run, right?
Yeah, her last one was her best-selling album, and she dropped that unannounced without any promotion, and that sold the most out of any.
She is just incredible to me.
Yeah,
she
she's
is
changed the
amazing.
game.
Her voice is amazing. She's an amazing dancer. She's been in a bunch of movies. She's been every movie I've seen her in, she's been really good in.
Yeah, so I mean that's always something great to watch out for.
Let's see what else we've got on the beat.
Yes.
Music never goes out of style.
And Haley has all the right styles. Let's check in with her for a look at her favorite band.
Hello, I'm Haley Fichter with On the Beat. It wasn't until February of 1964 that the Beatles became prominent worldwide. After their appearance on The Ed Sullivan Show and their U.S. debut concert at Washington Coliseum, John, Paul, George, and Ringo were a sensation. Their first #1 hit on the charts was I Want to Hold Your Hand, which aired on The Ed Sullivan Show in 1964. The Four wrote this song on a whim, and because of its catchy melody and loving lyrics, it became an instant hit. Other notable songs from the Beatles include Hey Jude, Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, All You Need Is Love, and Yellow Submarine. These songs united people because of their emotional connection to the Beatles through their songwriting and charming charisma. Currently, they hold the record for the most #1 hits on the Top 100 chart, with 20 hits. They also earned a Grammy and Academy Awards for arguably one of the best bands of all times. They were inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1988 and are the best-selling band of all time, selling over 600 million albums worldwide. Over the 50-year span, the Beatles have been recognized for many great accomplishments. Recently, they were presented with the Lifetime Achievement Award. During the 2014 Grammys, the Beatles were recognized for their impact on the music industry, where Paul McCartney and Ringo Starr performed live honoring the Beatles' legacy. It is evident that the Beatles have left their impact on the music industry and on many people's lives. Because the Beatles' music is a worldwide sensation, it will live on for many years to come. For Midstate Magazine, I'm Haley Fichter.
Thank you, Haley. Well, we've got Street Team coming up next. We're going to be talking about a little bit of exercise.
Staying fit,
which is super important to me. For myself, I know I try to get to the gym every single day and just try to be active. I go rock climbing a couple times a week.
Okay, cool.
So what about you? Do you try to...
Health is a very big part. That's part of the reason why I'm a vegetarian.
Okay.
Health is huge to me because diabetes runs on both sides of my family.
Okay.
And also with high blood pressure and high cholesterol. And I had both when I was younger. It's still on the high side. It's down, but there's certain things that I just can't control, so it's definitely like weight control.
Is diet a big part of that, and exercise?
It is, yes. So, you know, and also we have the Peoria Steamboat Classic coming up.
I believe you're training for that, is that right?
I am.
Why don't you tell me a little bit about that, because I'm not familiar with that.
Okay, well, the Steamboat Classic, it happens every year, and it's huge in Peoria. It brings out a lot of people, and you have the choice of either doing the 4-mile run or the 15K, which is like 9.3 miles.
Wow, which one will you be doing?
I was going to do the 4, but I'm gonna.
Are you bumping it up?
Yeah, they convinced me to do 9. So,
awesome.
I'm adding a mile every week. This week I'm on mile 4. So
okay, so how are you training for that? Are you going indoors on the treadmill, or are you trying to get outside just to get used to it?
Right now I'm indoors, and I will be outside, and I'm doing strength training, but we'll get back to that. And with so much random knowledge, Pablo always has the craziest facts.
Let's check in with him and the Street Team.
Hi, I'm Pablo Iglesias, and today we're going to figure out if Bradley students know a little bit about fitness. This is the Street Team, and let's get physical. First question. Exercisers can improve their performance by as much as 50% if they eat what regularly?
I'm going to take a guess and say protein.
It's actually dark chocolate. What would you have to say about that?
I better start eating the dark chocolate.
Protein?
No, actually, it's dark chocolate. Dark chocolate is the food. What would you have to say about that?
I love dark chocolate.
So would you be eating it more regularly now?
Yeah, definitely.
Well, for every pound of muscle gained, your body burns an extra blank calories a day.
500.
You're close if you drop a 0. It's actually 50 calories a day.
50.
That is actually correct. You have got it correct. Well, we'll leave off with this last question right here. The word gymnasium comes from the Greek word gymnasian, which literally means...
Stadium?
It means to exercise, wait, naked. What is your response to that Greek word?
I wish we were back in Greek times then.
Right, thanks. Seems that all the Bradley students are pretty stumped when it came to our physical fitness facts. Reporting here, dialing from downtown, I'm Pablo Iglesias with the Street Team.
Thank you, Pablo. I was impressed. I did not think he was going to make that shot. He was pretty far away.
I know, and the ripping off the pants, that was pretty hilarious.
Yeah, that was funny.
I wasn't expecting that. He always comes up with some great
Maybe
stories.
during your marathon, or is it a marathon?
It's not a marathon.
It's not a marathon,
Yes.
but maybe during your race you can get some of those pants and just
rip them
off at the end.
My only concern about that is like the heat. Right now, while I'm training, it's very nice out, but the weather does affect how you run, so I just got to make sure I'm hydrated and everything like that.
And when will it take place?
It is June 18th,
so
I
you're
believe.
right in the middle of summer. So
Right.
Yeah.
So by the time we get out there, it's going to be a lot warmer, but I'll be ready. So
good.
My goal is just to make it all the way through running. So I'm just going to pace myself and take my time. But
all right. Well, good luck with that.
Thank you. And coming up next, we have some, state of the arts as well. So that'll be a fun. We always find local talent.
Yep. Brooke always does a great job finding us some good talent, whether it's guitars or singing or a band or whatever it is. It's always very good.
What would be like your favorite, I guess, segment? I think for me, I always love when we bring in people who can like sing and play an instrument or something like that.
Me too. I've done a little bit of singing in my past, so I always love to see singers and just see how it is. I've been to a couple things like I love jazz singing, so if they're going to do jazz in that too, I love that. But
okay. Well, State of the Arts has had so many wonderful people come through.
Brooke has always had interesting shows, so let's check in with her favorite.
Welcome to State of the Arts. I'm your host, Brooke Janes. Today we have the Dope Styles breakdancing crew. Not only do they teach kids around the area how to dance, but they also like to perform and have fun with their energetic performance. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having us.
So tell us a little bit about what the crew actually is.
Actually, we're just a group of friends that started breakdancing together a couple years ago, back in 2007, and we have been performing and competing all around the Midwest. We've actually grown into one of the top crews in the Midwest. We do shows every year at the HOI Fair in mid-July. We actually host the biggest breakdancing event in the Midwest yearly at the Civic Center, so that's going to be coming up in August. And we actually, like you said, we teach kids how to dance. It's a great outlet for them to stay away from street violence, to stay away from drugs and things like that. So that's pretty much our passion, and obviously just the dance moves.
Sure, and how can people keep up with you? I know that's coming up in August. That's a few months off. How can people find out what you're doing until then?
On Facebook, they can look us up at Dope Styles Crew, or you can look up Rep the Midwest on Facebook as well. You'll find all the details of all of our tour dates and all of our performances.
Perfect. So are you ready to give us a little taste of what you do?
Definitely.
All right, have at it. Well done, guys. That's all we have for this week of State of the Arts. Thank you, Dope Styles, for being on the show. Be sure to join us next week for more exciting talent from around the area. I'm your host, Brooke Janes.
Thanks, Brooke. All right. Well, that was some awesome dance moves.
That was very good, very talented guys.
And we have some About Town coming up next, which is also going to focus on the planetarium, which is cool. You know, a lot of schools, whatever school you go to, usually they take their astronomy students and things like that, go there and visit space. And speaking of education, I just read this short story. It's called Chicxulub, and it's based on the asteroid that came to Earth and destroyed all the dinosaurs. And so I would just encourage kids to, if you get bored during the summer, go out and read a book. You know, but with education also, you have something about Florida, correct?
Yeah, at the University of Florida, one of their marine biologists, he was out on his boat and he pulled something up in his net, and what it looks like is a huge jellyfish, but it's actually not a jellyfish. They don't know what it is yet. It's the first time they found anything like it, and so they took it back to the lab, and what happened is they accidentally cut off like a part of it. And he was like, oh no, I ruined it. I don't know what's going to happen, because he'd never seen anything like it before. And he came back in an hour and the thing had grown back. And so, you know, it's increasingly like it regenerates itself super, super fast, and it includes its brain. So it like the part of its brain was cut off and it regrew it. So they're really looking forward to doing some research on that.
Yeah, and you know what? With our atmosphere and everything constantly changing, so many new species are developing. So this will be interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. Another amazing spot Nikki took us is Out of This World.
Yes, and let's see what she has in store.
In the dead of winter, there's only one city that truly captures the beauty and elegance of the winter storm. This magnificent city is Peoria, and if you take the time to examine all it has to offer, you'll be surprised at what you find. I'm Nikki Gearbrandt, and I'm here to take you about town. This week, we went to the Dome Planetarium inside of the Peoria Riverfront Museum. I spoke with Renee Kerrigan, planetarium curator, to learn more about the dome and astronomy itself.
I think astronomy is a very inspiring topic in science. Learning about what you can see in the night sky and learning about what those stars really are. Astronomy is important to know because it's a basic science, but it's also important because it inspires people to question how the world works around them and maybe get interested in science in general because of that.
The dome's technology lies in the SkyMaster star projector. It's used to teach us about the stars and solar system. Visitors to the planetarium can watch immersive shows about astronomy projected onto the dome ceiling.
The show that we have today is Stars Over Peoria. We do this every day at 2:30. We talk about what you can see in the night sky right here from Peoria. We also do laser light shows in the planetarium. Coming up in March, we're doing laser beetles and laser zeppelin. So that's just a fun thing we do. We don't only talk about where the stars are here in the planetarium either. We do all sorts of shows that are based on broad topics of astronomy like black holes and nebula and galaxies.
If you're looking for some fun that's out of this world, take a trip to the Dome Planetarium. For Midstate Magazine, I'm Nikki Gearbrandt.
Thank you, Nikki.
Nikki, yes. We both thanked her because we love things
We were
like that.
so thankful, and it was a really good segment, and I was just really interested to see about that.
I always love hearing about the stars. And speaking of stars, we have our very own stars behind the scenes.
We sure do.
Yeah, and we have a great segment coming up for you guys after that. But with the stars behind the scenes and talking about our crew, you know, that just plays along with us getting not only new equipment, but what we want to definitely put the spotlight on is that here, our crew, we learn everything in multiple positions.
Yep, and everything is constantly changing. Even if you're here the year before, there's going to be different hosts or different news people on every single year. So you gotta meet new people, you gotta learn new things.
Yes, and it's important in this industry to be flexible and to have as much knowledge as possible. And I mean, I know I have gone from street teams to host to news team. I have been behind the camera. I have helped direct. I have learned it all, and I'm still trying to perfect it.
Yeah,
and it never ends
because it's constantly changing. And with the new equipment, you know, they're going to have to learn how to operate all new things. which, you know, we've been using, like we said, for the last 15 years.
And so if you are a complainer, you need to get over it and just dig, you know, and go hands deep and just be ready to work hard, because with the crew, you always have to find new ways to make things work. And with so much work going on behind the scenes, About Crew always has something to talk about.
Absolutely. We thought we didn't get to see them all. Let's see who Taylor highlights.
People say that college is the time to discover what you are most passionate about. With that being said, let's go inside the studio of Midstate Magazine and learn more about their camerawoman, Ellie Rhodes. Ellie first heard about Midstate Magazine during her freshman welcome week. She is inspired by many writers and producers of television shows.
I would love to be a TV producer or a stage manager, anything really that's in the TV industry.
The talented freshman discusses what Midstate has taught her.
I really knew nothing about how to work with a TV show. I've learned something every day and how people work and how to communicate with other people. So it's all been very new and interesting to me.
There are challenges that everyone faces on Midstate.
Definitely the communication, since there are new people here for this semester. They use different terminology, so if, you know, they mean one thing, but I've never heard that way before, so everybody gets confused.
She looks forward to future internships.
It would definitely look good on my resume to say I worked on the TV show here. When I intern with the TV show, I will definitely have a head start and a foot in the door since I've had experience.
From Midstate Magazine, I'm Taylor Hurnett.
All right, thanks, Taylor. So next we have coming up the very funny bloopers
of the whole season, right?
Yes, I'm excited to see what they put on. I'm a little nervous as well, you know, when they, who knows
There's
what they
definitely
capture.
been a couple times where we've, you know, flubbed on a word or just totally messed up the sentence altogether.
Or you never know. You know, you're walking somewhere and somebody's recording, you didn't even realize it, you trip and fall.
Today we had keys on the table,
right,
so.
You know, my apologies for that.
Oh,
you know,
no,
the lights
it's
went
fine.
out.
It's going to be on the bloopers next year, so don't worry about it.
The lights went down. We've had like a wild show today.
Yeah.
We had a fun, you know.
And it's like that with entertainment. You never know. It's super unpredictable. You got to be really flexible, really resilient.
And you got to always be on top of your game, ready to talk and do any, you know, pretty much anything, just in case something goes wrong.
Walk, you know, do the whole show, right?
You know, get out here and do cartwheels. We'll see
exactly.
But also, you know, I guess we can do a quick recap of everything that's been happening so far before we get into the bloopers. We've discovered we've gone to the planetarium.
Yeah.
We've had we don't even know if it was a fish.
Botanical Gardens. Oh, the fish, that too.
Yes. Botanical Gardens was really cool. We learned that our ozone layer
is in a little bit of trouble. We got a D rating. Hopefully,
so
I don't know what you would do to.
I know because Peoria has so many power plants and CAT is here. And
and we're such a, you know, engineering type city, and that's so heavily.
So it'll be interesting to hear what happens over, you know, I guess the next year and see what they do to try to clean that up. Also, we've talked about celebrities and health.
Yep.
You know, and that's huge.
Losing weight, gaining weight, how that affects them later.
America has never been more overweight than now. It's just
especially with kids, which is really sad.
Yep. So
now's the time we've been waiting for all semester.
Yep. The bloopers we have all been waiting pricelessly for, and a great way to remember Midstate. Let's take one last look.
Let's take a look at the news.
California State Senator Leland Yee, one of the state's strongest advocates for gun control.
It wasn't my fault. No. He quickly ran across the street to alert the people inside. No one answered the front door, so he ran to their backyard. The owner of the home thought the fire was sorry.
Wait, Celeste. Castaneda? Castaneda. Okay. Let's go meet Celeste Castaneda, one of many Midstate reporters.
Well, that was a little windy there.
I know.
No wind right now. Let's do it.
Do you think you have what it takes to be a
3 seconds though.
I'm trying to work with the wind.
I know.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I'm bringing sexy back.
He's bringing sexy back.
Yeah. And peeking the mic. Yeah. All right, let's do this.
Yeah. You are my fire, the one.
Seems that the Bradley students are pretty stumped when it came to our physical fitness stuff.
When I say I want it that way.
2 worlds apart. Can't reach to your heart when you say that I want it that way.
We're having a conversation, not about me, having a conversation. Gonna sit here and listen.
But a mistake. Tell me why I never wanna hear you say.
But they also like to perform and have fun with their energetic.
Give me a second here. There's a fighting crime. Superman, this is desire.
Dialing from long range with the street team. I'm Pablo Iglesias.
But I want it that way. Tell me why ain't nothing but a heartache. Tell me why ain't nothing but a mistake. Tell me why I never wanna hear you say.
Get it right, Sam.
I'm sorry, this was different when I was.
You're the worst director ever.
I know, this is why I don't direct. Anyway.
Hi, and welcome to Get Real. I'm Stephanie Robinson.
From the way that it used to be, yeah. No matter the distance, I want you to know.
Most people don't know what takes place behind the camera during a newscast. Let me show you the... gosh.
They released the album Under the Table and Dreaming this and Dreaming. Could you put titles in quotation marks?
Does it let me show you? The thing is, I can't see it. No. I don't have my glasses on. I can memorize it. That's not the issue. I just can't. I just don't know what we rewrote it to.
Don't wanna hear you say, but wanna hear you say, oh yeah, I want it that way. Tell me why it ain't nothing but a heartache. Tell me why it ain't nothing but a mistake. Tell me why I never wanna hear you say, I want it that way. Tell me why ain't nothing but a heartache. Tell me why ain't nothing but a mistake. Tell me why I never wanna hear you say.
You know, I was getting ready for this. I will go to the scene immediately after, and that wraps up Midstate for the week. I'm Superman. Excuse me.
I'm Captain America.
And I'm Wonder Woman. Have a great night and be sure to join us next week.
Thank you.
No!
Not a pen. Not on me, but somewhere. Thank you. I want to get a selfie. Selfie! I'd like to dedicate that song to the love of my life. Like and subscribe at Midstate.
You got me wet. How dare you?
Are you gonna do it?
Oh, it's like a flappy stingray.
I'm Pablo Iglesias, and I approve this message.
Like a flappy stingray!
Like a flappy stingray. The end.
What a funny look back.
That was very
hilarious.
funny.
I've never seen Shane so dedicated.
Neither have I.
Who knew?
He was a great dancer, so I'm not sure why we haven't had him on State of the Arts before.
You know, we should have had them come and do a whole concert. They had fans and everything.
I know. You see those girls? They were going crazy.
Right? No, that was awesome.
Yep.
Everybody from the crew to some of the hosts got to get on there, and that was pretty good. That was pretty good, yes. And I think they were doing that because somebody, like, we had some talent who was supposed to come in and someone didn't show up, and so
Yeah, right. State of the Arts, they were supposed to have someone, and they were a no-show, so at the last second
Right.
they were like, hey, get up there and start singing.
See, that's what they didn't know. Midstate Magazine, we keep our own boy band right here and ready.
Just in case, because we're always ready. Things are always changing. You never know when you're going to need to jump up there and do something.
Exactly. You know, I think looking back too, it's been a wild year all along. Everybody collecting great stories.
Yeah.
Street teams. He was hilarious this year. I always love seeing what he comes up with.
Yeah, absolutely.
Also with the About Town, great food, you know. Yeah,
we've had a lot of great food, and you know, sometimes they're at the last second they're like, I don't know what I'm going to do the story about. We've got nothing, and then they always come up with something.
Yes.
So it definitely has been a really crazy year. This was my first year doing it. I loved every second of it.
Yeah,
so
it's been a blast. It truly has. I think one of my favorite things about town is it's not something that people, when we show our viewers these places to go to food or check out, that they can't go. These are everyday places that I go to. And
yeah,
so,
it's not some extravagant, super expensive place there. You know, barbecue or just local spots right around the area.
Right. I mean, I was planning on going to One World today. I mean, trying to get a veggie burger or something like that. And so it's somewhere I go all the time. Also, we've recapped a lot of news from national, from the presidency to the Nigerian girls, you know, the MH370 plane, celebrities. We've tried to cover it all for you guys here. We try to bring you a wide range of topics. You know, we don't want to leave anything untouched.
And it's, you know, hard to kind of report the news sometimes because it's not always good news. And we try to keep it light up here, but they obviously they don't have a choice. They got to report the bad stuff too.
Exactly, you know,
but that's how it goes.
Yeah, and we've had some great guests come in as well, always for State of the Arts, people with different talent, you know, from the guitar, the singing.
The ukulele, the singing,
the
dancing. We forgot about that earlier.
Right.
We were thinking maybe that would be our new favorite because I totally forgot about them. Not that they were forgettable, but you know, they were really good.
They was. I don't know where they. I think they were like local or something.
Were
like
they?
That, right?
I don't know. I missed it when she was talking about it, but they were excellent. They did a really good job.
Yeah, I know I couldn't do those moves, you know. I thought the planetarium was awesome.
Yeah.
I've always loved going to the planetarium. I haven't been to this one here, but any planetarium I've been to one in California.
I think I went to one not since I was very young, but I remember liking it a lot. And like we were talking about earlier with education, how important it is to just keep everyone educated. And you know, TV, of course, is a huge thing, but you were saying just start reading books over the summer.
We don't want to forget about Bob's dog. Remember to save the animals.
Yes, go to the shelters and look at them, too.
Yes. Well, for our last Midstate Magazine, I'm Don McClure.
And I'm Kayla Needs. Thank you so much for joining us this year, and we'll see you next time.
Yes.